Hi folks, Anders here, and wow, it's been a while since the last video. It's cold. Yeah, I'm a bit insane because it's 3 degrees outside and I've decided I'm going to pressure wash Doug today. So yeah, so I'm talking about what's happening since my last video, which is quite a lot. Then I'm going to talk about what's happening with Doug at the moment and hopefully what's happening in the future. Yes, it is a very clickbaity title, R.I.P. Doug, potentially, because yeah, something happened during the summer that was not very pleasant and is taking me a lot of time to sort out. So anyway, since my last video, where I fitted the new seats, I think was the last one, these guys. Yeah, Doug's been good. Like, we did 9 festivals in him last year, travelling locally to Coventry. Furthest down south was Milton Keynes, and furthest up north was North Yorkshire at Thornborough, which was, to be fair, it was our last festival of the season at the end of September. And oh my God, it was amazing. You get to pitch around a Neolithic henge. Like, wow, it was so cool and it was lovely. For the last festival of the season, the last outing in Doug, it was amazing. It was really, really good. So yeah, in the last year, there's been ups and there's been downs. My health has been, well. I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos, in 2022, I had an abscess in a very nasty place. That's unfortunately still reoccurs and I have to have antibiotics and get it treated and so on and so on. I haven't had to have surgery on that again yet, which is good. But unfortunately I had another abscess in my armpit, which knocked me back for a few festivals last summer. That has resolved thankfully, but it took a long time to repair. And obviously me being a lefty and it being in my left armpit was not convenient for trying to lift heavy things out of festivals. Fortunately, met some lovely people along the way who helped, which was good. Yeah, another couple of surgeries. I've talked quite a lot in my previous videos about me having bowel disease and ulcerative colitis. I had some scans summer last year, which fortunately showed that I didn't have Crohn's, but unfortunately showed that my bowel disease was still active, which obviously I know this because it's bowel disease and you know. But you know, it's yeah, it is what it is. With the abscesses, apparently I have some magical weird skin condition called hydrodentis. I can't even pronounce it. I'm not going to try. Ex-nurse, and I can't even pronounce this stuff. Yeah, so that's gonna keep happening. I'm gonna keep getting these horrible abscesses and cysts all over my body for the rest of my life, because it comes in part with having bowel disease, because I'm immunosuppressed from the medication that I take for my bowel disease. And yeah, then I had to have another surgery called a fistulotomy. I'm not going to go into details of what that involved. If you want to Google what a fistulotomy is, Google it. That's all I'm saying. Not fun, but fortunately it sorted out other problems. Anyway, so festivals last year, wow. Started off in May with festivals of pagans and witches. Brilliant as always, absolutely wonderful. Following Van Ven did a tiny little festival called Haraffen Festival in Dudley. Brilliant, really lovely. Met some lovely people who have now become really, really good friends of ours, Joss and Nikki, who run 2 separate companies. They're on the same festival scene as us. Acorn and Namu is Nikki. She does lovely little fairy houses and globes. Joss is called The Weird Wood, and he does pewter casting similar to me, but his stuff is beautiful, really nicely hand done and hand finished wooden pieces and stuff as well. Absolutely wonderful. And to be fair, those guys have been an absolute godsend for the last year, because when we've been doing festivals, they've usually been there and they have helped with unpacking and loading the van when I've been unable to because of multiple health problems, which has not been fun. So massive blessings to Josh and Nikki. Yeah, other people I've met along the way, Jeremy, who does the most weird, he does dolls heads, light bulbs, incredible. He is Mystic Revival. But yeah, just have met so many wonderful people. Tracy and Wayne from Night Owl Unique Stall. Oh my god, they do the most amazing stuff as well. Lovely jewellery. Then there's Ronnie and oh gosh, can't remember his name. I'm really sorry. Ronnie's partner, who are the Hippie Shed. They do lovely clothing. I'll talk more about that in a bit as well. Just loads of people. Like it's been lovely, being welcomed properly into the festival community and feeling part of it has been absolutely amazing. We've been witnessed some lovely hand fastings by Tina and Addie Stonehenge. We went to theirs at one Free Spirit Pagan camp in the summer. Yeah, we've camped out in thunderstorms, high winds, brutally high winds, which, yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, we've been to Wales, went to Llangollen Fairy Festival, met some followers on the channel at Thornborough. Hi, I can't remember who you are, but if you're watching this, hi, they saw Doug and they were like, oh my god, it's Doug, and he was proper fanboying over it, which was really fab, and told me to make more videos, which I said I would, and that was September, and yeah, it's January now, whoops. Yeah, but yeah, just so many amazing people, and yeah, and I've talked previously about my partner Maddie, and now Maddie has expanded as well, as she's doing festivals and stuff with me. She's her business is called Faraway Fantasies. I will post a link in the doobie-doo thingy below. And she does hippie clothing, vintage clothing, pre-loved, witchy capes, hats, all sorts of stuff. Some she makes herself, some we buy in. Again, some is pre-loved, and we love scouring charity shops and things, and you know, that kind of stuff. She's got her own professional little steamer to steam it, or we tag it, or SQ code it. And yeah, so she started out doing some little bits and bobs, I think some painted hats at one of the first festivals, and by the end of the season we had to expand, so going from one single 3x3 gazebo to now having, depending on the event, having 2 double gazebos, so 3x6 gazebo, and her clothing stuff takes up a lot of space, but her business has just gone wow. Like, whilst I'm not a clothy person and I don't hugely enjoy that side of thing, to see her grow from nothing in May, June to by September, you know, doing very well, and we've carried on doing events throughout into the winter as well, just day events. It's just been amazing. Like yeah, so much so that before Christmas we've had to actually take on a big storage unit just down the road, which is brilliant because I can literally reverse the van up to it and take stuff out and put it in. It's fabulous, because Maddie's house was getting chaotic. My mum's house, where Doug is at the moment, was getting chaotic. There was too much stuff everywhere, so decided to take a punt and get a big 20-foot by 10-foot storage unit, which is, yeah, it's cold, there's no heating in there, but it's dry and it's not damp. That's the main thing. And so yeah, everything's all in there, all my stock's in there, all her stock's in there, and wow, it just, yeah, the business just has started to grow to the, well, both of our respective businesses have started to grow to the point that, you know, profitability is on the horizon, you know, where we're still investing more in than we're spending. We're spending more than we're selling, but it's took a long time to buy clothing rails and extra really proper industrial gazebos and things as well. But yeah, it's just, yeah, last year was just so wholesome and lovely, even though, you know, again, my physical health took a turn, and my mental health, as I've talked about quite often, is not good. You know, we'll not talk about suicide and that kind of self-harm in this video, but things like that. Yeah, I have very severe anxiety, which Again, Maddie has been a godsend for this because she can do all the talkies and deal with all the customers while I sit in Doug and hide away from the world. I just do all the setup and then, yeah, can hide. When I feel confident enough, I can go out onto the stall and I can mingle and, you know, and speak to customers and stuff. But yeah, she's been a godsend for that because I struggle a lot with that side of it, which is ironic considering what I do with Anders Crafts and Faraway Fantasies. Anywho, yeah, so that's where I'm at with last year. I think that's pretty much caught up in everything. Oh yes, unfortunately, you've seen some from some of my previous videos. Bailey, my doggo, unfortunately, he passed away in the summer last year as well. Yeah, it was very sad and quite sudden. He got burned by some embers from a fire. It wasn't my fault. I'm not blaming anybody for it. I wasn't here at the time when it happened, but very tragic, and he had to be put to sleep and sent out of the Rainbow Bridge, which was very, very sad, especially considering the day that I'm filming this video would have been 9 years from when he came to his forever home. So yeah, so that was a tragic thing that happened. But yeah, yeah, aside from that, that's for last year, and I've waffled on for 11 minutes already, gosh. So yeah, Doug. Next week, Doug is going in for his MOT. It is that time of the year again. I'm assuming he's probably going to need some welding doing. It's on a 37-year-old van. That is no particular surprise. But onto the unfortunate part. Last summer, we were at a wonderful event called Llangollen Fairy Festival. Llangollen Fairy Festival. It was beautiful. It was lovely. Again, we were with our friends Joss and Nikki, some other folks that we know were trading there as well. It was fabulous. Unfortunately, it was very windy, and when we were there on the first day, I think on the Friday, setting up, another trader who didn't have a gazebo but had a market trader stall, and those are with very heavy metal bars, did not stake it down and walked off and left his stall. I'm not naming this stall, it's not fair of me to do so, but people who are at the festival don't know who it was. Yeah, and walked off. We just set up our stall. I was very, very fortunate, and I'll show you why in a second, yeah, I was very, very fortunate that I saw what I'm talking about next, what happened. So he walked off, and wind lifted his 6 metre by 3 metre market trader's stall up into the air. It flew across the next 2 gazebos next to it, 2 other traders, and took their stalls out completely. It then flew towards, it was like we were in where the van was positioned was in the middle of 2 rows, so row here, our stall was here, his stall was here, if that makes sense. Yeah, lifted up, came towards our friend Joss and Nikki's tent. They sleep in a tent when they're at festivals. Fortunately, nobody was in it at the time, which is an authentic Viking trader's tent. It destroyed that, and then came along and yeah, I saw it all happening, and it hit Doug. The gazebo hit Doug. I will now go and show you the damage. I'm just going to stop for a second so I can flip the camera around. Okay, so here I'm at the front of the van. So yes, he's filthy. This is why I'm pressure washing him today. Oh my god. So yeah, the gazebo came, and I was standing by the driver's door, and it took out a massive chunk of the scuttle panel there. Yes, I know it's rusty, I know it needs work, but it's not the point. It took out that, and then it flipped up just as I grabbed it from about here, and it's also pushed the window back and pushed it out of its seal above there. So yeah, so this guy had insurance. Great. Hang on, I will stop and flip the camera for a second. Right, I thought I'd come back inside because it's cold, it's windy out there. Yeah. So yeah, this guy had insurance, liability insurance, great. That was back in July. I submitted a claim alongside Joss for his damaged tent. I don't know what happened with the other trader, whether they submitted a claim for it, I'm assuming so. And that was, yeah, that was July. So I've submitted the claim start of August. I didn't hear from this insurance company until November. They said, firstly, you have to pay £2.50 to verify your identification. Very odd. And this company, liability insurance company, is based in the Seychelles. They have been an absolute nightmare. I've sent them photos of damage. I've sent them quotes that I have researched and found on to get the repair, because it needs the whole scuttle repairing. Full disclosure, yes, I know the scuttle needs doing anyway, but it's not the point. Somebody's gazebo was left unattended, market trader's tent was left unattended and smashed into my van and our friend's trader's tent and stuff as well, right? It was irresponsible, and that is why when you are a market trader or a festival trader like I am, you have liability insurance to protect yourself, right? So yes, but it's damaged it. Right, it's knocked the window out of the seal and it is damaged the scuttle panel. Right, so flip forward, I last heard from them, I think, in December. I sent them photos of the damage, I sent them photos of the quotes, and so on and so on and so on. They get back to me mid-December and say, oh, well, we think that because the car, does this look like a car, is in poor condition, they don't think the claim is going to be viable and they want to write it off. And I was like, no. This is, yeah, it's an old van, but it's legal to drive. It's, you know, what we use for taking our stock to events and festivals with. It's what we live in because we have to, because I could not sleep in a tent. My partner could not sleep in a tent. You know, it's not the point. You know, they wanted to write it off, and I emailed them back. This was before Christmas. So Christmas was looming over me with all of this stress that they're going to write my van off. And I thought, okay, fair enough. Maybe they'll write it off. Maybe they'll give me a reasonable amount, you know, £2,000 or £3,000. So what I paid for it plus all the work I've done on it, fine. And I can go and buy another van or buy this back to get repaired. I emailed them multiple times from mid-December until January. I know it's Christmas, I know it's busy, but a response, just one email response would have been nice. I heard nothing. Eventually, to the point where I got frustrated, I posted some stuff on social media about it, and somebody said, you know, look at going to contact a financial ombudsman who deals with all of this stuff if insurance claims aren't being sorted appropriately. So I looked on their website, found some information, sent them an email. They said the first port of call that I needed to do was to tell them that this insurance company that I was making a formal complaint. I sent them an email saying, I'm making a formal complaint, I've not heard from you. Shockingly, the next day they get back to me. We have an offer for you. Brill. £300. £300 to write off the van. I could sell this van as scrap for £1,000 minimum. £300 they offer me. But as a gesture of goodwill, I could keep the van. Now, to get the work done on the van, just to replace the scuttle panel and get the window reseated and resealed, I have been quoted in excess of £1,000. Plus having to take it, there's two people who may be able to do it. One is based in Derbyshire, one is based in Stoke-on-Trent. So I've got to travel Doug to their time and stuff as well. So yeah, so I came back to him and was like, no, you know, I'd already said around about £1,500 would cover the total losses. You know, bear in mind, this is like, you know, December to January, when I'm trying to be booking festivals for this season, for the 2024 season, not knowing whether I'm going to have a vehicle or not because of all of the problems, because, you know, it started to leak around the windscreen. So it's pushed its out of the seal, the scuttle's damaged. I know it needs repairing anyway. Again, not the point. It was damaged by this person. It needs a new scuttle panel. It's pushed the pillars out slightly. It's you know, it's just some tiny little nicks in the windscreen. Don't care about that. You know, it needs doing. right? And so I reply back saying, look, no, here are some examples of similar vehicles, and I screenshotted a load of stuff on Facebook Marketplace of eBay, talismans, the eldest models, you know, the similar kind of size to this van, similar ages, and I said, you know, I wouldn't accept an offer less than 3,500, or again, 1,500 for a quote. They have been a nightmare, and have since come back to me and said blah 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 blah. You know, because when one of the emails I sent to them saying was, look, the MOT on this vehicle is due at the end of January. I need to know whether I'm putting it through the MOT or not, or if you're going to be scrapping the vehicle. Because if they were going to be scrapping the vehicle and taking it away, it's a waste of money spending the money on the MOT and getting work done on the MOT. So I mentioned that in one of the emails, and in this email that they sent back to me was a bunch of legal jargon, and one of the things they said, well, if you know that the van isn't fit for purpose, you shouldn't be driving it without an MOT, and you could face up to 5 years in court and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, it's still got an MOT until the end of January. It's still legal to drive until the end of January. The damage that was caused by the third party, I don't think is an MOT failure. I don't know, because I don't know stuff about how they test vehicles and stuff anyway. So yeah, this is where I'm in a bit of a bind with it, because I don't think they're going to pay out. I really don't think they're going to pay out. It has caused me incredible amounts of stress. If you know me on social media, you know the stuff that I've gone through in the last, 6 months, year. Back in May and June of last year, both me and my partner were the drivers in car accidents, neither of which were our faults, and we've had to recover from that. We've still got insurance drama going off from that, and having all of this to deal with as well with a van is just, Christmas was hell for me. I spent Christmas morning in bed, avoiding my partner's children opening their presents, avoiding everybody. I didn't want to get out of bed. I did, but yeah, it's caused me so much stress. So my partner Maddie has done a crowdfunder to try and get the money to get the repairs done for the scuttle, get the window redone and stuff like that. I think so far it's raised just over £200, which is incredible. I'm really appreciative of that. I know a few years ago when I bought Doug, I did a crowdfunder because it was missold, and I had to get everything redone on it, like all the ceiling had to be redone and stuff like that. So she set up this crowdfunder. I didn't know about it until she'd done it. We talked about it, and I'm like, I don't really want to, but yeah, I guess, yeah, we're in a bind. We are in a bind. I've got the MOT next week. Now the MOT will probably need work doing for it. That is me, it's wear and tear on a vehicle. I will be paying for any repairs that need doing as part of the MOT, because I've drove him quite a lot in the last year. But the repairs to get the scuttle and the window resealed is stressful. So again, Maddie set up this crowdfunder for a GoFundMe. I'll post a link in the description. If you want to donate to it, you can do. I think with what we've raised so far, we'll pay around about half towards the parts. It needs a new scuttle, 2 new side pillar pieces, new windscreen and stuff like that. 90% of the work doing on it is labour. I'm not a welder, so I've got to pay somebody who is a welder who can do all these jobs for me, who knows about these vans, and I've spoken to 2 very competent people, again, one in Stoke and one in Derby, who would take on the work for me. So that's great. But yeah, again, I don't think this insurance company is going to pay out. Even if they offer their original £300 and let me keep the van, wow, thanks for that, thanks so much. It's not going to cover anywhere near the costs. So yeah, so if you want to donate to the crowdfunder, please do. If you don't and it's not for you, I understand. I know they can come across as being beggy. I know that people are very tight with their purse strings at the moment. Yeah, so are we. But we had such a good season last year, and we actually thought that this year may be the year that we might start actually turning a profit from our respective businesses. And with everything up in the air about this, I don't know. The other thing is that if I put when Doug goes in for his MOT next week and it's a catastrophic fail and it's £1,000 worth of work doing on it, I'd have to rethink that. I don't know. I love Doug. He has been amazing considering all the hassle I had when I first had him. You know, he has drove brilliantly. You know, I've drove 180 miles up to North Yorkshire in him. I've drove 120 miles down to Lincolnshire. I've drove, no, not Lincolnshire, Milton Keynes way, wherever that is, Bedfordshire. We've drove 100 odd miles over to Wales and back. He's done good. He's slow, he's steady, he's clunky, but he's part of me. He's part of the family, and I don't want to give up on him. I really don't. There is a lot of work that needs doing on him, regardless of, you know, the stuff that needs doing with a scuttle. You know, I suspect again might need some work doing for the MOT. I don't know. You know, I had the welding done last year. He needs a new paint job. He needs some love and care, and that's why I thought today I'm going to get the pressure wash out and do it. I've got some niggly little bits. The dry passenger window is jammed, so I've got to fix that. One of the seals has come off the rear door. I've just got to glue that back on. You know, bits and bobs that need doing. Eventually I'd love to be able to get him completely resprayed and redone, but that's a while off. I am realistic in that. But I love Doug, you know, above the cab, still, yes, it's sealed, but still needs finishing. As you can see, I haven't even emptied most of the stuff out of him from when we did the last festival back in September. Above the cab still needs finishing. I've got all the parts for it, but again, when you're trying to run your own business, trying to help your partner run her business, and you're suffering multiple health problems, physically and mentally, it's a burden. But I want to keep Doug going. So yeah, there's a bit of an update on what's happening this year. This is where I'm stuck in limbo at the moment about booking more festivals. I've booked a couple already that were already booked from last year. First one in May, which is Pagans and Witches Festival in Coventry. Again, one of my favourite festivals. Well, the first festival that I ever did. You know, but there. Got lots of day events, doing lots of day events, mostly with my partner Maddie's Faraway Fantasy stuff, because clothes always sell, you know, so, and when the prices of stall pitches have gone up quite a bit this year as well, it makes sense to go for the more profitable side of you know, her side of the business and my side of the business. Yeah, but I've got big plans for Anders Craft as well. I've got some projects on the go at the moment. I've got some ideas that are in the planning stage. I've just bought myself a new pyrography machine. I've bought a new pewter melting kit. Yeah, so I've got ideas and projects are on the go. I want to grow Anders Crafts this year. I want my partner to grow Faraway Fantasies this year. But without Doug, I don't know if we can do that. Coventry's only down the road. Take 2 cars. Have to sleep in tents. But the bigger festivals that we want to attend, I want to do the big festivals this year. I got turned down for Fancy Forest. Fair enough. I want to do Evesham. I want to do Shrewsbury Castle Festival. I want to do the big festivals this year if I can. And can't do that without a motorhome. Without Doug, can't do it. Still never actually took Doug away on just a weekend away trip. Like, since I've had him, it's yeah, because of health and life and everything else. I want to do that. I want Doug to carry on. And, you know, there's quite a few subscribers on this channel who watch these Doug videos. So if you do want Doug to carry on, just donate a couple of quid if you can. Share it if you can. That makes a difference. That, you know, it makes a big help. I can post it all over my social media, but people will think I'm a bit of a beg if it comes from other people. It, you know, because they value me, looks better. So yeah, if you can spare a couple of quid, great. If not, if it's not for you, walk away. If you don't like me asking about this on my YouTube channel, unsubscribe. But if you want to see more content, and there is going to be more content, that's the thing. That's the other thing I've not talked about on this video. Oh my god. Yeah, adventures with Anders. I want to go on adventures. I want to go on adventures in Doug. I want to go back to where this channel started with me doing random bushcrafty crap and wandering around forests and fields and foraging and all of that kind of stuff. I want to do that, and there will be more videos. I'm doing one next week. And I'm going fossil hunting, which is quite fun. I found a local nature reserve where you can find fossils. So yeah, I'm going to do a fossil hunting video. Never done fossil. I've watched lots of fossil hunting videos. Never done it. I'm going to be doing more stuff on my work. I'm going to be doing thrifty. You remember my YouTube, my car boot videos and my charity shop videos? I'm bringing those back. Because we're in charity shops all the time now. It might necessarily be Adventures with Anders stuff, as in it may be Adventures with Anders and Maddie, because, you know, the things that she finds, because she finds lots of amazing, weird and wonderful vintage clothing. She found a Levi's leather jacket for like a £5 the other day. It was insane. And things like that. So I'm going to be expanding the channel. I want to be doing more regular videos, and I will be doing more regular videos. Again, that doesn't depend on Doug, but it would help if I have Doug to be able to do that. So yeah, there's the future of Anders Crafts Faraway Fancies and Doug. I've rambled on for like half an hour on this video. I'm really sorry, it's a long rambly one, but I figure I haven't done an update since probably May of last year. So yeah, this is what's happening. Save Doug. Thanks for watching.